You never lean into paid ads for a content strategy.
Totally.
So the content strategy happens on the organic level, and the paid ad system amplifies who you are as a brand and what you're telling to your customers. Daniel, my man.
What are we bringing up today, Rob?
So today we're going to talk about the idea of you can't outspend your problems. It's something we hear Patrick say all the time. It's something we navigate with clients all the time. But here's the thing. Sometimes more money is exactly what you need. Sometimes dumping money on a problem just creates a dumpster fire. So today we're going to explore kind of those two different things where, when is it appropriate to interject more money and when do you need to solve things beforehand?
Totally. There's something so special to be said about laying the right groundwork and strategy before you're just fueling it, dumping money on it. We have a great example of this of a client that we used to work with, of someone. We've used this strategy on so many stores just like hers, and they were scaling so fast and crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one difference with this particular person is she wasn't taking our advice on how to go live and how to portray herself, as well as like website changes that needed to happen to start getting sales. She just thought, no, let's just spend more on marketing. Let's see if we can diffuse those problems by just putting more into marketing.
And let's break that down a little further because she ignored us in two different areas. One at the foundational level where it's like, hey, we're going to give you this entire traffic ready audit. We're going to go through your site. We're going to check it for conversion rate optimization bottlenecks. And if you don't fix these, it's kind of, there's already issues we can find before we run any data through it. Things that we can become more efficient on. That's something we do before we work with anybody. It's called a traffic ready audit.
Yeah.
Because that's something you need to do before you get traffic. So anyways, she kind of shrugged those off, didn't really want to change up the site too much, wasn't allowing us to kind of make a couple tweaks because she had it the way she wanted it. But we kind of knew that was an area that needed to be fixed. And then aside from the foundational level, there's also an area where she ignored us on the ongoing strategy. So paid ads is always amplification.
Yeah.
You never lean into paid ads for a content strategy.
Totally.
So the content strategy happens on the organic level, and the paid ad system amplifies who you are as a brand and what you're telling to your customers.
The way I think about paid ads and what we're doing though is it accelerates finding the bottlenecks in your business.
Yeah.
Because if you're not running any paid ads, you don't even know what your bottlenecks are, whether it's your website, whether it's something with the product, fulfillment, anything like that. But as soon as you dump some money on it, you say, oh, my website's not converting. I need to make these changes. Or once you're beyond that and scaling your team and internal capacity, more ad spend, then you're like, oh, fulfillment's an issue now. So it really accelerates your bottlenecks.
Yeah, it accelerates the feedback loop. So instead of waiting for, months to get 1,000 visitors, you spend a little money, you get that in a day.
Totally.
And then you know where your issue is, you know where your bottleneck is. So we built a strategy, and this is very much kind of an amplification of basically social selling. So to be able to interject assets into the funnel, it's the client's responsibility to participate in going live and creating new content for the top of the funnel. Something we go over extensively before we launch ads. Yeah. So in this case, didn't do the website changes, wasn't participating in getting new organic content into the top of the funnel, but wanted to increase ad spend.
Dumpster fire. You
can't outspend your problems. We need to go and fix those, because what happens then when we dump money on if we don't address the problems first?
What happens?
Yeah, you already said it.
I already said it. We've already been over this. But what I'd
dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. What I'd like to go into is what happens if you got good foundations in place.
Yep.
You got the bottlenecks worked out on your website. You got fulfillment figured out. but you're not willing to ramp up ad spend because ROAS, return on ad spend, isn't quite as high as you think is ideal.
Yeah, it's a tricky game because you gotta know your cost of goods sold. And nobody wants to go and spend ads and lose money, but you also have to understand the lifetime value of a customer. Otherwise, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot all day long.
And this is stuff we're always ranting on all the time, is like, pay more to acquire customers, know your lifetime value, increase that lifetime value so you can keep getting more customers at a higher cost. But example of a client, that had their foundations really well, weren't doing much paid ads, but were kind of killing it organically and stuff. When we came in, put some severe ad spend behind kind of a structure that was already working and built out on a strong foundation. I mean, we very quickly took them from $70K a month to over $1 million a month. I think it was in like 8 months we were able to achieve that. And I don't want to take credit for their success because they had built something very strong and continue building on something strong, but accelerating with ad spend is what was so exciting to me.
Yeah, don't want to take credit, but don't want to water down the very important piece of amplification, because that was something where they didn't know how to do that.
Exactly.
And the conversation too, like when you do have the foundation laid and you have your ducks in a row, the conversation becomes very much about numbers. And so it's like, would you rather have a 10x return on ad spend on $10 a day, or a 3x return on ad spend on $100,000? Whatever. Exactly. And it just becomes it paints a black and white picture pretty fast. And so I think the hesitation for people is like, we doubled budget and results dipped just a little bit, and I don't want to lose like the amazing results we're getting. I think that's the hesitation, but then it's like, well, you continue to extend that out and you look at what that does to your P&L. It's like, my post-tax profit is maybe a little bit less of the overall percentage, but the amount of money is like so much more if you're willing to scale.
Yeah.
So that's what's nice, is that with scaling, with return on ad spend maybe dipping as you scale, there's still a way to figure out, if it's going to make you more money or not. And more often than not, scaling is a very, very good, powerful thing. And the tolerance for results getting a little bit worse there's a much bigger tolerance there than people think.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider lifetime value.
Yeah. Let's conclude it though, man. I feel like just don't pour money on a broken strategy.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve all your problems.
Yeah.
Fix your problems first, then amplify.
Yeah, I'd say money in itself, in business, in your personal life, money is an amplifier.
Totally is, yeah.
If you win the lottery and you have bad money management, you're going to be in a worse place than if you didn't have any money. Totally. So the same thing, you can kind of think about what's happening in your ad account in the same way.
Yeah.
You can't outspend your problems.